Morning. This is Aaron. My bubble over there is Jericho. It's coffee with the Summerland Kids. Today's weather in Summerland currently 63 with an expected high of 80,
Wow,
79,
that's amazing. Again,
75 or something like that.
that's cool. So yeah, I'm out in Arizona now, making the rounds on the trip.
Wow,
So I
you're
got,
making a lot better time on the way out than the way in.
yeah, the way in, freaking the train, man, it's slow as heck. I mean, there was a layover to wait for other trains to pass by, like the freight trains. Like room for the freight trains to pass. So that's an issue. How's my audio? Can you hear me? So. God, I'm right
And
next to a
we've
cell
decided,
phone tower.
huh?
Phone tower. So, but I don't know if it's a T-Mobile tower or not.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get too much broken up audio. I know that being on the road, being on mobile data, we kind of got to work around the issues.
Yeah.
And I guess hopefully it's coming in a little bit clear. It looks like my connection is also being a little bit weird for whatever reason.
Yeah. I'm coming up on a town, I think, and the territory here. I think I'm nearing Kenyenta, a place called Kenyenta. I think I'm just passing TSEGI, Tuskegee, maybe. It's freaking amazing.
Tuskegee?
Yeah,
That's
Tuskegee. Yeah, exactly. Um, pretty cool territory here. Looks like the Grand Canyon. Hopefully I don't lose you. Um, so yeah, just trip, man. It was good to see everybody. I got to visit my friends in Los Angeles and say goodbye to Lily. She's going to Italy. And my friend TK took me down to the some of the public transportation yesterday. Pretty amazing. Um, yeah,
yeah. You were saying that, those stations and the art installations they have there. Um,
yeah,
you know,
spectacular. Got to be hundreds of thousands of dollars that they spent on that stuff.
yeah, the architecture and stuff and those things is art in itself, the
It
design of
is.
functionality or the functionality of the design. That's definitely an art form and a skill because you got to be able to engineer the buildings to where they're structurally sound, but at the same time, you want them to have a nice design, aesthetically appealing and everything. I don't know if you're cutting in and out or what, Jericho, but um, I just wanted to find out: you're in the budget rental truck, yeah? What's going on? Jericho seems to be on silent mode. Um, I guess that's one of the difficulties of traveling on the road. Hopefully you get some good mobile data to where you can connect soon. It seems kind of odd if you're right next to a cell phone tower that you're not getting the connectivity. I wonder if it's the service. We've been kind of having a few issues from now and then, whether it's the device, which we kind of have decided maybe it's not the device, the connection. I know that a couple times over at his office, he's stepped outside and seemed to get a little bit better reception. Um, I know he's gone to the coffee shop. The coffee shop seems to be a pretty reasonable connection, with the Wi-Fi service. So it makes me wonder. I wonder if it's the device, the connection, the service. There's so many variables. So I'm going to try and carry the show a little bit here until Jericho gets back. But basically, Jericho's on the road, got to visit his friends in LA, picked up a truck, loaded up a storage container or a storage locker, and is on his way back to home with the stuff. I'm just, I guess it's weird being on here without nobody to talk to. I don't know what to say or how to carry the show, but I guess it's all part of the learning curve. I guess we're on episode 92 today, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty good. We've at least been able to jump on the Facebook and um, upload to the YouTube. And, every now and then Jericho, every now and then I've been having technical difficulties. I see the bubble is back now.
Yeah, I think I might be back.
But
I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna pull over.
I hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna pull over. I got 3 bars, so we should be pretty good. How are we doing now?
The bubble is clear and moving, and I hear you.
Okay, good, nice. Yeah, traveling is interesting. I mean, I have this friend of mine has a photography studio next to my old office, and I'm tempted to he's got Starlink, and I'm tempted to talk to him about what is it called, podcasting. And I'm tempted to talk to him about you know for doing our show.
Yeah.
I guess if I find the hot spot, like down in my, I noticed by the I think it's by the elementary school downtown Pagosa Springs. It looks like there's a place where there's a chance I could just return to the same like area each day to broadcast from, so that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a challenge. I know for me, it's easy money because I'm here at home and I got the Wi-Fi service supposed to be high speed. So,
yeah, that's cool. And that's my neighbor. He's on another type of connection, but I just know that, like, if I had to guess, maybe like the equipment is like 500 and then $150 a month. I'm just guessing. It's kind of a lot, though. I mean, in terms of cell phone, what is it called? Like in my old art studio, I think the bill now is about $62 a month, and that's 18. And that's in downtown Los Angeles. But up where we're at, about $60 a month, I imagine, for internet service. But this is not so good with everybody, where they have days sometimes where they don't have service.
yeah, it could be kind of a trick there, like I've read mixed reviews on that Starlink as far as reliability and capacity. I have a friend that has I'm not sure what cell phone service it is, but he uses a booster. And so he's able to, run his TV and his computer off of it, and even his cell phone service. Like if he steps out away from the area that he's got the booster, then his signal goes way down and he'll drop off and he'll have to go back into the house or into the room where that booster is in order to even have a telephone call. But when he's, in the same room as the booster, we don't have any issues as far as just regular cell phone conversations. So
yeah,
I don't know how valid that would be for you where you're at.
Yeah, I have the same situation where and it's a fair abundance of that. I don't know if that's coaxial. It's white wire that hooks to the cell phone booster tower, um, and it's sort of a makeshift dowel with a little antenna strapped to it, and then that white line that runs with a wall attachment that kind of looks like a Wi-Fi box on the wall, and then there's a little antenna on that as well. So cell phone connection with that, but just have to try it. A number of occasions, testing 1, 2, 3 style.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the way of life, I guess. Trial and error, fall on your face a couple hundred times before you learn how to walk. Doesn't seem to be a
exactly.
big deal when we're kids, when we're babies, learning how to walk, because we just want to be like the grown-ups and walk. We don't look at, oh, I fell. We look at, oh, I stood for a second before I fell. Oh, I took a half a step before I fell. So, to me, it's fine. A little
Yeah,
trial and error. I know that some of our viewers have mentioned it. My girlfriend has mentioned it, that occasionally we do have some issues. That's why we're in the bubbles today.
yeah, yeah. No, I think the bubble, surprisingly, do you think it takes less, um, like less bandwidth or whatever the words are for the bubble versus the.
Yeah, yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, just the mere fact that the device doesn't have to run the video, that's extra data, video versus just plain audio, so that's another
Yeah.
however many gigabytes of data.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. That makes sense. It does make sense. And in terms of like today's podcasting, I'm sure, like, of course, Joe Rogan, biggest, fattest, what is it, like T1 line, like, ever. That's what they're using with him.
I know that back in the day they did. I imagine by now, Joe Rogan being who he is, and he's got,
Yeah.
resources, money and stuff to spend on what he wants. I imagine he's got a fiber line, if
Fiber.
not directly
Okay.
to his house, probably a fiber, at least towards the street. Um,
Uh-huh.
I know
Okay.
back in the day when these big podcasters, Joe Rogan or the other shock jock from New
Howard
York,
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yeah, they both spent a lot of money to have that wired directly in, so
Okay.
maybe the provider had to, add some more wires to the bundle, or,
Yeah.
you know, maybe even create a spot where they could put the bigger wires through.
Yeah.
But
I think Howard Stern went over to SIM radio. So that's a satellite radio. I mean, that doesn't mean in his office but um, he's broadcasting. I should watch that show more. I don't want really ever watch it, but have you seen it later? Show?
no, I kind of stay away from the Howard Stern shock jock. I just think he's a little bit too raunchy for me. I mean,
Right.
um, Joe Rogan, I can, I could handle it in
Okay.
clips. I don't really listen to the full long format 3 hour show per se. I just
Wow.
get
Is
little
that what it
nips and
is?
pieces. And then like Russell Brand, I'll catch some of his nips and pieces.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It's amazing how that's caught on. I guess enabled it, and the fact that those guys are doing it and we're doing it, in a level. Um, but there's a lot of people that are seem live. Like, I guess since we're doing our live show, I noticed more people going live now of it. Um, so I think it's cool that people are share of course, their videos quickly, nowadays, like even in terms, or they're just having fun or whatever their motivation is, share their videos quickly. Um, you know, Instagram does a pretty of the live video sharing. Uh, that's you can watch and see how many people are watching. I think on your end, you can tell people are listening, right? Right. Sometimes you'll see.
Yeah. There's like a little eyeball.
Okay, nice.
On the screen, it says live 720p, which is we're broadcasting it. I guess 720p is the quality, and
Okay, cool.
shows the timer how long we've been live, and then there's a little eyeball.
Nice.
And it shows a number next to it, and if I hover over the little eyeball, it'll actually show me Facebook and Twitch. So it'll show the combination. Nice. But if I hover over, it'll show me, is that on Twitch or is that on Facebook?
Oh, cool.
Because that's where we're streaming right now.
Yeah. I did notice the other day that it had like, at the time I looked at it, I was like, 74 people have watched it or something. I saw that.
Yeah. Like I guess Facebook will track the number of viewers.
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, I don't always see it, but sometimes I see the jump up, and that's it's always nice to see that, hits you're getting. I know, like on my personal Instagrams, or even maybe it's a Facebook story or something. I'm not super consistent with that stuff, but it'll 75 plays or something on a video. So it's like, okay. It's kind of nice to see that that people are watching what you're doing, so.
Yeah, every now and then when I check into the YouTube side, I guess we're up to over 50 subscribers now.
Oh, good.
And it'll show a little plus. Two people subscribed, or 4 people subscribed. Nice. So, we're slowly building an audience, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's just, it's a fun show that on topic, if you will. Like, we don't or any advertising or anything. We're just a super independent, two buddies catching up and just going into art conversations and just having fun. Just being here and sharing our thoughts with everybody. So
yeah, it's fun. I was doing kind of I guess you'd call it a podcast or a live stream with another gentleman, and it's funny bringing up sponsorship because he was like, "Oh, these are my favorite drinks," right? And I'm like, "Oh, let's find out if we can get him to send us some free beverages." And I just reached out to him, sent a couple emails back and forth to whatever department, and they ended up sending us each a coupon for a free 6-pack or 12-pack. And so, it's funny, because you see it, these different celebrities. Oh, I'm a brand ambassador, and they're sporting the gear and talking about it. And it's cool that the little guys that I don't even think we had 100 people ever watch one of our streams, but they were still willing to send us a coupon to have their product just by reaching out and asking and saying, "Hey."
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice quick response, and it's a positive response versus a nothing response or something. And I did, in terms of timeline, it does they the year sometimes where they budget a certain amount of product or money things, because like Red Bull, for example, will budget for in some cases. And I remember Monster Energy drink. It was funny, like back in 2004 Burning Man, one of our camp working with Monster, and they actually brought a Monster truck out there, but they unbranded it because they're not allowed to have real branding at Burning Man. Like a non-sponsored event. So we had free, but they weren't. They had to cover up the big brand name essentially. So that was kind of interesting that year. The people at Burning Man, because they're out there building it right now, and I'm not sure if on the man. The man is a giant project that they build the man. Semi trucks full of gear and the product, the material, and the man is got to be, woo, man, like probably like tall. It's pretty massive. The man, and you sort of structure, and then of course they burn him at the end, which is crazy. So it's wild.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of symbolism or esoteric thoughts as far as like, okay, let's build this straw man, this idea, this image, and then burn it down, kind of saying, oh, this is, realize this is the temporariness of reality.
Yeah.
But I dig some of those art installations, like your art installation, and a lot of those vehicles,
incredible.
Where they get that special license to drive their special art cars.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's so the fact that you can like in some cases inviting, and they say climb aboard, and sometimes there's no one really on. There's only a driver and people on board, but they have capacity in some cases for on board to ride around at the together and have a little adventure. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's like it's the middle of the desert, and then they bring all those people out, and they call it what they call it a certain city
Black
name
Rock City
or whatever.
Yeah, so the in terms of numbers, that weekend, Black Rock City is actually like maybe the 5th largest city in Nevada or something during that week. Yeah, because there's
oh wow,
like a good like there might be 8. I can't remember. I know that like Coachella Music Festival far surpassed the daily. So did Electric Daisy Carnival, more or less the independently produced music, larger attendance, but Burning Man is very like, everyone's camping, and so that's another factor where there's no like ins and for most people they commit to a number of days. Have an airport there. People actually sometimes they which is amazing. So it's pretty cool. They were they had the what's called Center Camp, and Center Camp is, I know they probably still do the ice. I'm not sure if they still do the coffee or not, but a magical time really. And it was sort of like seemed to be transformative experience, because when you go back home, regular life has the Burning Man life.
Oh yeah. It's a trip. I know a couple people that have gone out there besides you, and they definitely come back changed a little bit, transformed.
Yeah. So it kind of like community and how your neighborhood could work and nice versus a lot of times in Los Angeles, people like they go to their apartment, they shut the door, you never see them. Maybe they're not even really giving you a glance and a nod. They're just focused on, for some, I don't know why, but just that maybe it's circle of friends and not going outside the circle. for guys, I don't know. It's weird. So
Yeah, it's weird, because when you're in the city, there is a lot of, diversity, I guess.
Yeah.
Good side of town, bad side of town, and I guess it does make sense to kind of keep your circles small because it's easy enough to, find a few friends that you align with, and it's also easy enough to find a ton of people everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Um, I know when I was down there, it was like always just so interesting to me how I'd go to these events and sometimes you see the same people that you knew from a few events ago, and then a lot of them is just like, oh my gosh, there's all these people that I've never met, and I guess it'd be kind of hard to make friends and keep connections with every single person that you ever meet.
I mean, I guess Facebook can be amazing like that, but in terms of friend groups, how sometimes people burn through Facebook pages for some reason because maybe they change devices and they forget their password. And people do get hacked. Like just yesterday, I was talking to a friend. He's like, "Yeah, I stopped using. Sent me a notification that I did something against their community standards." And he's like, "I'm against community standards." So he thinks someone essentially hacked his page, and I don't know what the
It definitely happens,
and more so, back in the old days, of course, when you had your phone number and that was just it. I guess if you gave up a number, that someone else might, in short order, in some cases, receive that number, and then you're getting for Jerry. This is, this used to be Jerry's number, but I'm sorry, he's no longer here. So,
yeah, I get that sometimes when I'm calling people. I've had my same number for decades now, I guess, and it's really interesting. Sometimes it'll be years before you hear from somebody, and then all of a sudden they'll call you, and you're like, "Well, who is this?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, this is me. I got a new phone number." You're like, "Oh, okay." And you could save it in there for when you want to call them back and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting that used to be the only way to get a hold of somebody. Oh, here's my phone number. Write it down. Now it's like, oh, here's my email. Here's my website. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Facebook.
Yeah.
And I don't even have a phone number.
Right? It's amazing now that you can essentially get by without a number. I guess I get the number and the contract, but with the cell phone company, I guess helps you have a constant source versus having to I mean, I guess if you lived the coffee shop, technically I could be on the coffee shop Wi-Fi all the time, and that way I could do calls like this or something on the coffee shop Wi-Fi, and not have to.
Yeah. I know some people don't even have a phone number. They just have a cell phone that maybe is older. They didn't pay the bill, or they just dropped the number. And what they'll do is they'll go to like a coffee shop or a McDonald's or somewhere they can access the Wi-Fi, and then they can, make Facebook connections, text messages, or even video or audio calls through whatever platform, whether it be like Restream, like we're using, or Facebook, or whatever, Zoom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And connect that way.
That's cool.
It's nice for sure. A bit of flexibility.
Well, I'm glad we were able to connect on this bubble for a long time.
Yeah. I guess you're on the road, so you probably want to get back on the road and get home as soon as
jumping
possible.
Right back in. Yeah. So, anyways, Aaron, thank you guys for listening and joining us and talking about and outs of doing our little streaming and having fun. So thank you everybody for joining the Summerland Kids.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and drive safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, Jericho.
All right. Bye.